Made it to the morning grind.
Welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to my home. Welcome to the office. Welcome to the morning grind. It is so good to see you. I have... I was just about to say that I have been sick, but I'm feeling pretty better. I'm feeling a bit better now. I have not been sick in years, but I have been sick over this past week. But I'm feeling better now, so that's good. It's great to see everybody. Our main topic of conversation today is going to be basically what I think will be the last stream on the development of the Cultists RPG before I actually make a PDF out of it for beta distribution, commentary, playtesting, everything like that. Because finally, I think we have just about come to the end. We've just about come to the end. So that's our main topic for today, although there have been a lot of other things going on. So let me see. So, okay, feeling better after having been sick. That took a lot of time out of life this weekend, or this week. But hey, let's check in, see who else is here. We got lots of people here. So I see Bacon Gaming is here. Good morning. Good morning. Micah is here. Good morning. Looks like the breakfast dishes got cleaned. Good morning. That's great. Lynn is here. Good morning. Oh, Robert. Good to see you. Good morning, Robert. Good morning, Micah. Oh, Micah again. There we go. I see PH is here. Yes, thank you. Please do hit the like button on the stream. Thank you, PH. Mike is here. Good to see you. All right. So, yes, sick but getting better. Ready to attack life again here. I have also been working a little bit to upgrade the studio, and I've been trying this out. You might notice that I've got my lights back, the colored lights for a long time, for like a couple of months or something like that. All of the lights in my house got reset, and I just had not gone through and actually turned them back to put them back on the network and things like that. And finally, I started doing that this week. So we're going to have the orange lighting here for the morning grind live stream. And then also that allow us to go back to blue for the table talk streams. So I'm trying to upgrade here. So that meant getting the lights back in order. Also, I want to come up with a better camera. I've been using this iPad camera for a while now, and that's been very nice because it's been easy. But I do want to try to upgrade the camera over here for the streams. So I've had this one in the closet for a while. This DSR, this Canon EOS Rebel. I don't even know if I can connect it to my computer, but I was trying to like get it charged last night. So I got to get this on. So I'm thinking about different kinds of upgrades. So camera, I'm trying to get a camera upgrade. This has been sitting around forever. Maybe I can use it. The internet says in some places that you should be able to connect the Canon to your computer as a webcam. So I'm going to try, assuming I can get it actually turned on and charged up and things like that. So there we go. You like the action for the He-Man action figures, Mike? Yeah, I need some more. Well, you can see the ones up there on the top. Maybe I need to upgrade or change up the background too. Maybe it's about time to kind of look like that. But maybe the camera will be upgraded. I also was talking to somebody about upgrading the microphone. My father has a podcast. He's been working with a guy. He podcasts with a guy out in Las Vegas called 10 Ton. And I was talking to him. He got the podcasting set up for him, and he and my father going. And so I was talking to him about what type of stuff he uses just for podcasting. And so he gave me some suggestions on that. So I might have some of that coming in. So I've been thinking about the upgrade to the studio in here. We will see how that goes. So maybe you might see some changes over the next, I don't know, week or two. Well, I wasn't planning on adding blue to this, but you know, when Table Talk was, I was trying to theme all the different streams a different color. I don't think this is quite the right color orange that I had it last time, so I may have to work with that. But Table Talk was blue. The morning grind was orange. When we were doing video game streaming, that was red. But anyway, so that's going on. Let's see. We're also working to was working to rebrand this channel. Brianna and I, we're working to rebrand a bunch of the different channels, like the Cultist channel, as we were going back to the beginning and kind of re-releasing and sorting different things to different channels. And that was a huge project. The one that was the least well branded after that was this channel right here. So Brianna last Wednesday was working on some new templates and things for this channel, and so I'm thinking about changing some of those over, and then changing some of the videos over, and then as some new videos, which I want to do some about the Cultist RPG come out, well, they'll be using some new templates that Brianna created, so we'll get some better branding here for this channel. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully that will work pretty well. We did hit 2,117 subscribers this morning on the Cultist YouTube channel. So that's been going very well as far as the rebranding goes. Been putting that out. So hit 2,000, and I put it in the Discord server. Now we're at 2,117. So that seems to be working. So rebranding seems to be helping. Mike says, I use a Blue Yeti for my voiceover work, and it seems to do a good job. That's what I use right now. I've got a Blue Yeti right here. So I stream from Blue Yeti, and yes, I think it does do a pretty good job. But I'm thinking it might be time to basically do an upgrade. So while I was thinking about that, I might just try to do it all. I hope I can get this camera working. I hope I can upgrade the camera here with something that's in the house that's easy to do. So if this works, that would be great, because I never really even used this Canon camera for much of anything. So it would be great if it could get an action. I hope it's not too old. Will the Cultist channel use black lights? It seems like it should. But then again, I know, of course, we're dual streaming here on the Cultist channel, the He's Geekverse and the Cultist channel. But since it's the morning grind, well, you just get this. Get this. All right. So, all right. So, but anyway, House the Dragon. Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about that for just a moment. So, House the Dragon comes on again tonight. The very first House the Dragon episode, we did a live community reaction on Table Talk. And then I wasn't able to do it last week because I was sick. I just couldn't go on stream. So it's tonight. There is another episode tonight, but there is a fireworks show tonight, and I'm thinking about going with all of my nephews. So I might not even watch that tonight. I'm thinking about being out at the fireworks show for Independence Day and go and hang out with the nephews. So I was thinking about, so that means that maybe next week we'll be able to do another live House of the Dragon. I'm hating that I'm missing it because I've been really enjoying that show. But I was thinking maybe that means that on this week on Table Talk, hey, maybe Tuesday would be a good idea. Maybe Tuesday, invite some people on to do a more complete kind of discussion about the House of the Dragon and not just the live reaction after the show or something like that. So maybe we just postpone. That'd be three episodes of House of the Dragon. Maybe we just postpone that until Tuesday, maybe Thursday. We don't have a topic for Tuesday yet though, so maybe that. So that's what I was thinking there. So as far as this RPG goes, the biggest hurdle that has been that there has been to getting this off the ground has been finishing up this rule book. And of course, this rule book, as with all of my projects, it seems like this is the definition of scope creep, right? This is all right. Let's make an adaptation of the low stakes RPG. I have no, that's going to be, a short pamphlet style for, casual, fun comedy role playing. And then as we got into it, we created something really robust here. So the number of words, I think it comes out, or I was looking at the number of words that have been written for this. And the whole project is right now, so it went up some because I added some examples, 18,686 words. Yeah, 18,686 words is the total number of words in this document. So that's a pretty robust book. Certainly when, I was thinking something like probably 8,000 words, max 10,000, and we ended up at 18,000. So this is a very robust kind of thing as far as comedy role playing goes, as far as improv role playing goes. So I think it deserves a lot of attention in that area because we've done so much more, I think, than just an adaptation of low stakes. I think we have pushed this forward and pushed forward comedy, improv, role playing, particularly mockumentary style role playing. We've added things to the low stakes system. I think we've improved on it. We've expanded on it. And so it's actually really become its own thing, which is fantastic. So the plan here is to go over with you guys the pre-generated characters, which are all the cultist characters, because I got those finished, and then take a look at how the beat sheets ended up being developed. And then probably I'm going to go, so probably before I go to the fireworks tonight, my plan after we do our discussion, which is always very helpful, see if things need to change there. I'm going to read through the entire thing again. Then I will probably send it to James. James has volunteered to edit things. So I'm going to send it to him for an edit. Hey, Charlie. But then also, I'm not going to try to James will have plenty of time to go through and do an edit. And then what I'll do simultaneously is put together, I think we need like a small preview PDF that I can send out. And then also a PDF of all of these. We're not going to complete layout. Brianna's going to do the layout for the final book, but we're not ready for the final book yet. We want to be able to play test this in the online coffee shop. I want to be able to send this out to people. Some people, even if they aren't able to play, may want to do rules commentary. So come up with like a preview and then also a complete PDF of it, not full layout, but just something that can be sent out. Later, Brianna will do the whole layout for the book, and it'll be really nice. But that'll be after we get feedback and commentary and then an edit and all of that done. So And then, so that's my plan this afternoon. Read through it all after send to James, but then also put together a preview PDF and then a beta PDF. Then we've already got a lot of the Kickstarter page up. I've got to send out some things to get some quotes on the shirts. There are still a few things I've got to do as far as getting some quotes on some of the items like the shirts. Brianna and I will finish the players pack on Wednesday. But speaking of scope creep, Mike says scope creep is my nemesis too. Yes. Brianna is. Yes. Yep. Brianna does take on freelance work. Yes. And she'd been trying to grow that. So in the vein of scope creep, I do have these miniatures. I've got miniatures for all of the cultists. I don't know if I can get the camera to focus on it, but I've got miniatures for all of the cultists. And originally, I was thinking, well, these are something that would have to be produced overseas and then shipped in. And I'm thinking that I might just go ahead and send in and get a quote for these. Because I was trying on this Kickstarter to have nothing done that's got to be produced overseas. Yeah, I did miniatures and I had them and I was like, they were going to go out with the board game, the party board game, which will be, next. I don't know. That's on the list sometime. But I'm thinking about going ahead and sending these over. I got, paint them. We should do like a painting stream. I only just got barely started trying to paint these guys up. These are resin prints, right? So, but it just seems like to me that these go with an RPG. They just seem like they really go with an RPG. And so I was thinking, well, maybe I should go and just get a quote on them if they were going to be produced overseas, or get prices on them for resin printing so they would be available. So they would be available for order and get the resin prints made up through the Kickstarter. And I could do the STL files, right? Yes, I could even make the STL files downloadable, right? So I didn't have the miniatures on that Kickstarter page, but now I'm thinking with the RPG, if you're playing your character, if you decide you want to play a Acantha, I mean, I think it'd be really nice to have an Acantha miniature. I think that's when people would want them. And I think it's fun. I think it's fun too to just have the miniatures for the show. So this week, because of the holiday this week, I've got a lot of time that I can just sit here at the computer and work. And so I'm thinking about doing a little bit of a revision to that page to potentially put those miniatures on in some way. I think they deserve it. Because the board game, the party board game later doesn't actually need the miniatures, whereas the role-playing game kind of could. So since they're here, I think they should be done. So I'm thinking about it. So that's where we are. But I have had no time to think about anything else other than write this book. Every time I sit down and I have a spare moment, it's like, well, I got to, and I've got to reply to emails and I got to do all this stuff, even all of that. But I was like, man, I got the major thing that only I can do is get this first draft of this book done. So that is done. So that's an update. I believe that's all the updates that I've got as far as all of these projects go. So I'm excited to be moving forward. I feel like things are finally moving forward again, and it really will feel like I'm on the other side of something once I have something, these PDFs that I can at least send to somebody like, hey, look, this is what we're doing. This is what we've been developing. Here's the PDF. Check it out. We're going to bring this out on Kickstarter. So there we go. Call them your shoal. I'll call the miniatures my shoal, and I'll control them with my mental fish powers. And they got to get out there in some way. They got to get out there in some way. Even if I go and try to get a quote on them for production overseas, I would try to do it like just like I don't think we need like fantastic 4-color print packaging or things like that. You know, Simon Simon often packages its miniatures just in the brown cardboard with the print on it, with the miniatures inside and the tray. You know, Simon does that. We could do the same kind of thing here, but that does add extra complication of going overseas. So I don't know. I'm just I'm gonna check. I think it's worth at least looking into both the print way, STL way, but then also seeing if we can have some that are created and just see what that cost is. So I'm send some emails as I'm prepping for all of this. All right. Let's see here. I do want to be sure this is the beginning. We're not going to go through all of this. Hey, Daniel, welcome. Danielle, welcome, Danielle. Let's see. We've got we're going to look at the characters, and we're going to take a look at the beat sheets. But first, I do want to be sure that all of you, we are credited. I got right up here, the front matter, right here. Okay, who has been involved? I want to be sure that everybody who has been involved here live in the development of this is credited. So I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. So if you've been here and you've been part of this and I've missed you, or let me know somebody else who I've missed. Somebody might not want to speak up and say their name, but if I've missed somebody, let me know. I don't want anybody to be missed here. So I said special thanks to everyone on the Morning Grind live stream who contributed the development of this RPG. It was as it was designed live, especially Alex 1725, Andrew, Anon Alderland, BGD, Daniel Donnert, Doc Flamingo, Dungeon Master, James Bacon, Lynn Spitz, Micah R. Maloney, Mike M, Nathaniel Binge, Robert Romano, RPG Exile, Sable Phoenix, Tomocrat, and Zero the Blade. Where's PH? Oh, see, I'm missing PH. Am I missing PH? M-N-O? M-N? Yes. PH, this is why I was looking. PH Arbex. Okay, there we go. Actually, PH, I didn't forget about you because I was actually writing about you in the development notes. Because I was just saying down here in the development notes, which we can get to later. I want to give a special thank you to PH Arbex for introducing me to the game Barbarians of Lemuria, particularly its approach to spells and spell casting. He recognized that its approach would work very well for the way magic potentially works in the Cultists, and advocated for its inclusion. He was right, and I was very glad to adapt it for this RPG, and the game is stronger for it. So I added that note because that was such an important part of that in the development notes down here. But I can't. That's why I was checking. So PH Arbex. I cannot understand why I would have skipped over that. So who else do I need? Do you see anybody else who is missing here who should be? If you do, put it in the chat, because I want to be sure that you're all credited. And then we'll do well, I can totally do that too. I put by default I went to YouTube handles because I figured that's how people are publicly known. But would you rather, BGD, will you write in the comments, or you can put it in the Discord server how you prefer to be credited? If you prefer a different credit, I'm absolutely happy to do that. Like, I know James Bacon is now Bacon Gaming. He might want Bacon Gaming, or he might want, I don't know, James Bacon Gaming. I don't know. So if you do want it different, put it in the comments, or put it in the Discord server. I'll put a link to the Discord server in here. You could direct message me. Raven Keep Discord server. Okay, good with James Bacon. Okay. So if anybody needs to be added there, or if you want something changed as far as the name goes, I'll be happy to do that. Okay, so then let's go down to the creating a character. No, creating a character. We've been through all that. So we've been through the cults as well. Zero the Blade says, I haven't been called Zero for some time. Been going by Zabuzane. So would you prefer that to be on there? Zabu, well, keep covering it up. All right, I think I got it. Zane. I got it. All right. Micah says, mine is perfectly fine. When I start marketing my own stuff, I'll be making a separate channel for that. This account is for my general use one. All right. All right, let's go down to pre-generated characters. So here's what I ended up with. PH Arbex is my actual name. Paulo Henrique Arbex, something like Paul Henry Arbex. And you have to trust me on that. It doesn't sound that strange in Portuguese. Now, I believe you. All right. So I added an addition, like a comment or a description at the very top. And the only thing that could be added here, I think, is it sure would be nice if there was a little picture of each cultist. I would have to commission that art, and I'm not sure if it's worth it. It seems like it's worth it, but I'm not sure if it would be worth it as far as the cost goes. But it certainly does seem like on the pre-generated characters, having a little picture of each one of the cultists would be nice. And it doesn't seem right. It doesn't with the front cover material and all of that, the way that it looks at styling, it doesn't look like it would be right to have a screen capture or something like that. I think that wouldn't look right. So I think it would need to be a cartoon illustration, a cartooned illustration, very much like the cover for each one of the characters, if that happened. That's that could be a stretch goal. All right. Well, I don't know. It would I would have to go. I would have to look for something like on Fiverr. I mean, maybe it wouldn't be too expensive to get because I would send in the perhaps do like a screen capture of what the character looks like, the character in a good position, and then be like, okay, I need that vectorized and cartooned. If it were just 2 or 3 of them, it wouldn't be that big a deal. But we got we got 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we have 8. Because we don't have Steve. Oh yeah, we had Steve down as a potential stretch goal that would go in another. Why did we decide not to put Steve in here? I think that had to do with duplicating the different narrative goals. I think that was it. So it's 8. Okay, so Acantha. So here's what I said for Acantha. So here's what we ended up with. Acantha. Acantha is a beautiful young witch with a sweet demeanor and a quirky charm. Her knowledge of the occult is extensive, and she's always willing to lend a helping hand to cultists when they're down on their luck, especially those with their heart in the right place. Maybe she'll invite you over to her cottage for some muffins. Cult of Azathoth. So her powers are sudden appearance, craft magic item, and hexes and curses. Narrative role, the Metachronism. Troubles, DC 6. And some of these I customized to the individual characters. Roll a trouble check to effectively use modern tech or conveniences. Relate to people through pop culture. Properly interact with mundane authorities or officials. Sway skills, DC 5. Attempt to gain sway by demonstrating knowledge of forbidden eldritch secrets, impressing someone using antiquated skills or language, using your charm to diffuse a tense situation. Next up, Ben. Ben is seriously down on his luck. There's nothing left for him in life but to join a cult. What he lacks in occult knowledge, he makes up for with his enthusiasm and eagerness to please. And if there are girl cultists around, that's a huge bonus. He is with the Esoteric Order of Dagon, Fortune of Fishes, Second Oath, Mesmeritic Presence, Narrative narrative Role, The Novitiate. Troubles, DC 6. Roll a trouble check to stand up for yourself or resist exploitation. See character flaws in more advanced cultist. Resist being overawed or easily impressed. Sway skills. Attempt to gain sway by learning new rituals or tasks or uncovering new information. Accepting responsibility for group mistakes or failures, especially when this would protect a more advanced cultist. And this one's very Ben-like. Attempt a grand self-sacrificing gesture to advance the cultist's goals. We talked about that being the end of season 1. Carrie says, Carrie serves her mistress Sherry and the black goat to the woods with 1,000 young just outside the park. When Shub needs something done, Carrie makes it happen, and she's not afraid to get rough. She's harsh and severe. Oh, yeah, and maybe a cannibal. And like we said, Carrie is one of the ones, or probably the character that we know the least about. You know, she doesn't have a tremendous amount of screen time, and she's always shown with Sherry. So I kind of came up with this that kind of expands on what her character would be. So she's the muscle. She's the harsh and severe muscle behind getting things done with the Cult of Shub. So Cult of Shub, seduction and charm, domination, nature's wrath, narrative role, the lackey, troubles, resist your cannibalistic tendencies, successfully execute intricate schemes without deviating or making mistakes, and resist the temptation to act on your darker instinct at inopportune moments. So I think these two I added in custom for her. Resisting cannibalistic tendencies and resisting the temptation to act on darker instincts at inopportune moments. Bacon asks, do you have rights to use the footage as you see fit? Specifically, likeness rights of the characters. You could put the stills in the book for these pre-gens, might clash with the overall presentation, but it would tie back to the series in a very obvious way. Yes, I do have the rights to the likenesses of the characters to use however I like in associated marketing products and things like that. So I could totally do that. It was more about the clash with the general style. I feel like everything else we've got on this is more cartoony. You know, we didn't go with trying to put like a still from the film as the cover of the book or something like that. I had, we commissioned from Adam Botsford a custom cover for it, which I think is completely the right way to go, especially since the interior of the book is going to be black and white. And so even printing in grayscale, I'm just afraid that we're not going to have fantastic images that are going to look good in grayscale in here. And especially since it seems to be clashing with the overall aesthetic. So yeah, BGD says keep it all cartoony. I think that's the right feel. If so, they would be black and white. So they wouldn't have to be colored. So they wouldn't be all that expensive. Like I said, the main concern is there are a lot of them. So even if they're reasonably priced individually, trying to get 8 done or, 9 or 10 or 12, that's more if we do the stretch goals as well. So that's what I think. Yeah. Yeah, right. That's what I think. So I think what I would do is go find a still from the show that has each one of the characters in, it's his or her iconic kind of look, and then that way I can say, here are the 9 characters or 8 characters that I need to have vectorized and cartooned in a particular style. I think that's exactly what I need to do. If it's going to be done. Sway skills. Because also, when people are looking for characters, if you don't know the characters already and you're going to go look at pre-generated characters in the back of the book, then I feel like you're probably going to be taking a look at a lot of pictures. And if you don't know Shay or Acantha, you're probably going to flip through and look for a picture and then probably read that description. It's another thing to do. Sway skills. So this is sway skills for Carrie. Attempt to gain sway by manipulating someone into believing a warped version of reality or a darker truth. Use intimidation or fear to persuade others to comply with your demands. That seems like it fits very well with Carrie as described. Identifying and taking advantage of a rival's vulnerability or flaw. So then Dave. Although Dave is down with Dagon, he's also a casual cultist of Cthulhu, often lightening the mood with his jokes and musical talent. But he's also in a band where he's quite the guitarist and vocalist. Too bad the band and the cult life are always in conflict. Maybe he could make something of himself, but his love of the seaweed interferes with both his musical aspirations and his worship of the elder gods. Roll a trouble. So I put casual cultist of Cthulhu. So that way we're not duplicating or triplicating, actually, the esoteric order of Dagon. Casual cultist of Cthulhu, prophetic dreams, mad visions, unshakable fanaticism. Narrative role is the conflicted, of course. That one seems like it's designed for him, partially because it was. Troubles, roll a trouble check to maintain cult secrets from non-cult friends and family. Prioritize the cult over your mundane interests or friends. Resist the lure of intoxicating substances. I added that one in custom for Dave. We didn't have anything about that just on the conflicted, but I thought for Dave, that makes a lot of sense. Resist the lure of intoxicating substances. It's another trouble that Dave's got. Dave's got a lot of trouble. He's got a lot of problems. Sway skills. Attempt to gain sway by using your musical talent to enhance a ritual or ceremony, drawing upon your network of contacts in the mundane world, or mediating a conflict between cult members, perhaps through the use of humor. That one is also custom for Dave. I kind of liked some of the narrative roles just fit so well for them that there was nothing else that needed to be changed. But I kind of, when I would come up with like a custom one for the character. Yeah, I agree. Didn't realize the cover had already been purchased, and I really like the idea of having a still sketched to match the style of the book. Right. So yeah, the cover. Well, the cover is. I think you've seen it. Let's see, Cultist cover. I think should be able to find it. We also have cartoony kind of like vector images that Brianna made and would put in different places. That we're going to use as spot art on the interior. Well, I know I've shown it off. Well, okay. I mean, it's on the. There's a better picture of it. But on all of these on the so this right over here, this book on the side over here that I've been putting on the thumbnails, that's the cover. So, and I know I posted in the Discord server of what it looks like, but that's Adam M. Botsford did that. So we had him. So we got Rob, Mike, and Shay. And actually, you can't see down here, but there's praying in front of candles, and they've got all kinds of tentacles wrapped around them. So that's what the front cover of this book's going to look like, which I really love. I think that looks great. All right. So I'm very happy with that. I think it's going to make a great looking book. Let me get back over to the rules. So mediating a conflict between cult members, that sounds like something that Dave would do. So then we've got Mike. Mike is a modern-day Charles Dexter Ward, rejecting his suburban life to delve into necromancy with the worship of Yog-Sothoth. Mike has a lot of knowledge of the occult and likes to make things happen. Unfortunately, his mom just doesn't get it and is really cramping his style. So he is with the cult of Yog-Sothoth, necromantic insight, sacrifice of dedication, officiant of the cult. His troubles include focus on a mundane task, resist going on a cult quest when called, doubt your abilities or beliefs. Sway skills. Inspiring other cultists with a dramatic speech of the elder gods, effortlessly leading ritual actions, use elder god apologetics to explain something that might otherwise cause doubt in your faith. So when things go wrong, Mike is the one to explain why, oh no, it doesn't have anything to do with us. We got to do some other things some other things first. No, Michael, again, Micah says, and yes, the cover looks great to me. Simple, clean, yet still realistic in a cartoony style. Yep, I think Adam hit exactly what we were looking for. So Rob says, yeah, I'm really proud of that phrase too. Yes. Oh, see you later, Charlie. Charlie says, see everyone soon. Got to make Bloody Marys and other boozy drinks. Go do it. I'm gonna go do that tonight when we go to the fireworks. Rob says, Rob has been a cultist ever since he was able to speak the first oath of Dagon to the darkness beyond his crib. Now he's the high priest of the esoteric order of Dagon. What he lacks in self-awareness, he makes up with his extreme dedication to the elder gods. His goal in life is to transform into a deep one and live forever with his grandmother under the sea. Esoteric order of Dagon. Fortune of fishes, second oath, mesmeritic presence. Narrative role, the critic. Troubles, roll a trouble check to display compassion and support. Accept criticism gracefully. Acknowledge vulnerability. Sway skills are persuading someone through harsh criticism, highlighting someone's imperfections with precision, and using your knowledge and dedication of the elder gods to overawe others. All right, Shay says, Shay is the quintessential dark witch with a sarcastic edge and a dry sense of humor. She lives in a dungeon-like room in Acantha's cottage. Her biting comments often put less serious cultists in their place. Has she actually ever killed anyone with her magical powers? That's probably less relevant than the fact that other cultists believe she has. Cultist of Azathoth, sudden appearance, craft magic item, hexes and curses. I really love the special abilities of the cultists of Azathoth. Narrative role, the Maverick. Troubles, DC 6. Roll a trouble check to resist mocking or belittling someone who you think needs it. Cooperate and follow directions from another cultist without asserting your own ideas or methods, or demonstrate sincere concern and understanding for someone else's feelings or situations. Attempt to gain sway by resolving a conflict with your dark and commanding presence. Make someone else feel cool by boosting their confidence and status. Using your reputation for magic to intimidate or awe others. I think she's a great character. And then Sherry. So Sherry says, as high priestess of the fertility cult of Shub-Nagoroth, Sherry commands a lot of respect in town. She isn't afraid to use her whip to force others to bow down before her altar of the black goat and give the mother of 1,000 young the honor she deserves. The rumor is that although she ultimately devours the men she ensnares, they have the time of their lives with her before their end. Why don't we just say rumors are? Rumors are that although she ultimately devours the men she ensnares, they have the time of their lives with her before their end. Oh, really? So PH says, remember the 90s RPGs that were more lighthearted and had this more cartoonish visual style, which conveyed the likeness of the system. And that's important too. I think it's important too. conveying the lightness of the system through the cover and interior art, I think, is important. That might not come across if you had the photographs or the stills. To me, that's something that would be in there with a more serious kind of system, like having the stills of the Fellowship of the Ring in the Decipher's Lord of the Rings systems. P.H. Arbeck says, at least back then, teenagers bought into that aesthetic, which was somewhat subversive and satirical of the established norms. Let's see. So, Cult of Shove, seduction and charm, domination, nature's wrath, narrative role of the elder Goth. Troubles include show restraint with your use of force or intimidation, appear non-threatening to people in the mundane world, resist using your charm or seduction to get your way. Sway skills include intimidating others into compliance, using your charm or sway to sway someone to your side, inspiring another cultist with your hardcore occult ethos. I really like the way those came out. I think those are really great interpretations of the main cultist characters within the context of this system. I think that works really well. So, Ninja Burger, yeah. Okay, so what ended up happening with the beat sheets? This is the way I spent a lot of time working on these. The beat sheets took a while. So this is another one of those situations where I think this is an improvement on the basic way this is done in low stakes and could potentially be used in more serious RPGs. I mean, this style, this idea, like how do you create something on the fly, get some type of ideas out there? I think the narrative roles could be used in a more serious RPG. I think that's absolutely possible. I think the narrative roles could be. I think the beat sheets could as well. Okay, but here is how this ended up working. So the beat sheets. A beat sheet is an outline designed to facilitate the development of the story, move it forward, and ultimately toward a conclusion. Each beat sheet describes a simple situation that could potentially be the subject of an episode of The Cultists. But if your group does not find a story they would like to play within these beat sheets, you can develop your own using these as a guide. Each beat sheet is composed of 3 parts: the crisis, the opening, and the scenes. 1. The crisis. The crisis specifies the situation the cultists find themselves in. Roll a 6-sided die, d6, to determine the crisis from the provided table. So we fought a lot with, when we were working with this online, trying to figure out exactly what you were rolling and which one of these things each one of these meant. So, because I think we just had started with like the crisis and then the scenes, and there was a curveball in there for each one. But what I did is I went ahead and said, okay, we've got 3 now, 3 things on each beat sheet, plus the curveballs, which have been moved to the end. So the curveballs apply to all the different beat sheets. But the crisis specifies the situation the cultists find themselves in. You roll a d6 for something more specific about what's going on. For instance, the forbidden is the name of a beat sheet. The forbidden, mystical mishap, mundane intrusion, prophecy puzzle. So the crisis is going to narrow that somewhat. Then you move on to the opening, and the opening is just your initial scene. The opening, because a lot of times when we were writing the cultist, the crisis, it ended up sounding like it was the entire initial scene. So I ended up embracing that. I was like, okay, I tell you what, let's just, since we tend to write things that sound like the initial scene, let's just formalize that and say the opening is the initial scene. And then the scenes that come after that will be whatever follows the opening. Did Doc Flamingo just show up? Yep, Doc Flamingo's just here. Doc Flamingo, you're in the credits. We were just looking at that at the beginning of this stream. So Doc Flamingo is in there. Good to see you, Doc. Let's see. Okay, so the opening. The opening is the initial scene played in the game. It kicks off the game's hilarity. Roll a 6-sided die d6 to determine the opening scene to be played. Even if the same beat sheet is used multiple times, the variety of crises and openings listed on the beat sheet allows each game to start in a different way. The scenes. The scenes outline the specific events and interactions that will drive the narrative. We'll say after the opening scene. The scenes. The scenes outline the specific events and interactions that will drive the narrative after the opening scene. Roll 2 six-sided dice and add the results together to determine the scene to be played. The scene table is organized so scenes are more likely to be at the start of the story or in the middle of the distribution, 6, 7, and 8, with scenes that are more likely to be near the end of the story at the tails of the distribution, the 2, 3, 11, and 12. However, because the next scene is always rolled on the table, there's the possibility that scenes will come to in a potentially non-standard order, much like shuffling scenes written on index cards when we're trying to write a story. When trying to write a story, looking at different scenes in different orders can spark the player's creativity. Each beat sheet can be played multiple times with different characters, different curveballs, and different scenes in different orders. This will create new and fresh storylines for each game. Each section concludes with a curveball table, which is applicable to all the beat sheets. So the curveball will be for all of them. The curveball is an added complication to the game. The first time a duplicate is rolled on the scenes table, roll on the curveball table and play out that scene. After you roll that, after the first duplicate is rolled, if there's a third duplicate, you move up or down on the scenes list. But the first duplicate sends you to a curveball. So, for instance, the Forbidden. Here is one of the beat sheets, the Forbidden. One of the cultists is involved in a forbidden activity that jeopardizes the group. Okay, so what is that forbidden activity? We went back and forth about, do we need to specify that, or do we just say, okay, there's a forbidden activity that you guys are involved in. Everybody write something, or everybody just come up with something. But on the other hand, I mean, they can do that, but I also wanted to give them a role. So here, if you're playing the Forbidden, roll on one six-sided die. 1, the cultist is in a relationship with a member of the local skeptic society. 2, secretly working on a forbidden spell they help will return their missing left sock. Collaborating with an enemy of the cult, the local Southern Baptist Church. 4, using cult resources to fuel their addiction to rare and expensive cheeses. 5, spilling cult secrets during an intoxicated rant at the local karaoke bar. Or 6, reading the forbidden book, The Idiot's Guide to Debunking the Supernatural, which was stolen from the local library. So that specifies something about the forbidden right there. Then you go to the opening. So this would be the opening scene. So all of these needed to potentially apply to any of the things that had been rolled previously. So the opening says, the cultists discover letters or other messages between the member of their cult and someone else involved in the forbidden activity. 2, while cleaning their lair, the cultists find evidence suggesting one of them is involved in the forbidden activity. 3, one of the cultists overhears a conversation implying one of them is involved in the forbidden activity. 4, certain mystical supplies go missing, suggesting one of the cultists is involved in the forbidden activity. 5, a mysterious outsider approaches the cultists saying they have information suggesting one of them is involved in the forbidden activity. Or 6, the cultists receive an anonymous tip or warning about a betrayal within their ranks, hinting that one of them is involved in the forbidden activity. So there we go. Let me turn on the AC. You end up with... That's exactly right. The opening is the first scene to be played out. Bacon says, I love the idea of a book having been actually checked out from the local library, but calling it theft makes it seem even more cool to the cultists. Oh, yeah. Maybe they're not brave enough to actually steal it, so they actually just check the book out. But they like to think, yeah, I just stole this book from the library. Right. So the opening is the opening scene. And then after the opening scene, you roll on the scenes table. And so this is 2d12, 2d6. So the cultists conform. So, like, for instance, the ones around the cluster around the 7 include 6. The cultists try to win back the involved cultist loyalty. The cultists seek help from an unexpected ally to resolve the situation. Or the defector's true intention are revealed in a dramatic twist. 5. The cultists must deal with the fallout of the forbidden activity. The rival cult's blackmail demands A rival cult's blackmail demands put the cult in a difficult position. 3. The cultists attempt to cover up involvement in the forbidden activity before it is exposed. 2. The cultists confront the involved cultists, potentially leading to a heated argument. Or going the other way, a non-cult member spies on the cult and causes chaos. 10. The cultists perform a risky ritual to nullify the effect of the betrayal. The cultists discover a deeper conspiracy linked to the forbidden activity, or the forbidden activity leads to a climatic showdown with a rival cult. Keeping it past the due date. So, that's our structure and how this is set up. As another example, so mystical mishap. A spell or ritual has gone awry, resulting in unintended consequences. The crisis, the mystical mishap, is caused by a mispronounced spell, a faulty or broken wand, expired or rotten spell component, incorrectly drawn casting circle, distracting background noise during the casting, or confusing spell book written in an ancient dialect. Then you move on to the opening. So the opening include the cultists believe they have summoned an angry spirit after a spell to conjure a midnight snack goes wrong. A spell to enhance charisma results in the target becoming overly dramatic and theatrical. An attempt to enhance the cultist's strength leaves him enamored with his new body and unable to stop striking bodybuilder poses. An attempt to fix a leaky faucet with magic floods the entire house. 5. A mispronounced incantation causes a cultist to be cursed with loud hiccups. Or 6. A ritual meant to hide the cult's activities from nosy neighbors instead turns the whole town into cult enthusiasts overnight. Oh, Doc Flamingo just gifted a membership. Thank you very much, Doc. Let's see who got it. Can we tell? Oh, Lynn. Oh, fantastic. Lynn was just gifted a membership by Doc Flamingo. Thank you very much, Doc. And congratulations to Lynn. Oh, look, I think this is the first time I've noticed we got James Bacon's shield is getting fancier and fancier. So then the scenes would include something like the cultists we're starting from the middle. 6, the cultists consult a magical expert who turns out to be a charlatan. The cultists accidentally involve a clueless outsider. 7, the cultists have to infiltrate a mundane event like a PTA meeting or an office party to fix the mishap. And then going the other way, the cultists believe they must speak to the neighbor's yard flamingos on the subject in the middle of the night. The cultists seek help from a rival cult with expertise in such matters. The cult must acquire a rare spell component to reverse the mishap, or the cultists try to reverse the spell but make things worse. Going the other way, 9, the cultists discover a hidden mundane solution to the problem, but reject it because it's not magical enough. The cultists must perform a dangerous ritual to set things right. The mishap attracts unwanted media attention. The cultists discover a hidden message of the mishap that leads to a greater mystery. Oh, Zero the Blade's got the same one. Yep. Mundane intrusion. So anyway, so that's the structure that I think ends up working pretty well. Mundane intrusion, everyday life interrupts the cult's operations. The cultists, the crisis, the mundane intrusion is a local official arrives to conduct an inspection. A neighborhood event focuses the cult to participate or appear suspicious. A family member comes to stay unexpectedly. A repairman is called for urgent household repairs. A cultist is called for jury duty. A community group needs volunteers, and the cult is volunteered. The opening includes the cultists are in the middle of a ritual when the mundane intrusion begins, or the cultists are preparing for an important meeting when they receive notice of the intrusion. The cultists find an official notice or unexpected guest at the door. The cultists overhear someone talking about the upcoming intrusion. The cultists receive a frantic phone call or message about the intrusion, or the cultists wake up to find the intrusion in progress. Scenes. So, like 6 is the cultists concoct an elaborate plan to eject the intruder. 7, the cultists try to fulfill the intruder's request without revealing the true nature or with their true nature or by being suspicious. 8, the intruder's curiosity leads to a series of near discoveries of the worst of the cultist's occult life. So they are all like that. Prophecy puzzle. The prophecy puzzle predicts the rise of a new and powerful cult leader or foretells an imminent disaster that only the cultists can prevent, hints at a hidden treasure crucial to the cultist's fortune, warns that one of the cultists is marked for death, warns of an approaching cosmic event they must prepare for, or reveals a long-lost ritual needed to summon an ancient being. There are 6 beat sheets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, no, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 7 beat sheets. Unwanted attention is the cult has attracted the attention of someone outside the cult, like a nosy neighbor who has become suspicious, a local journalist who is investigating strange occurrences, an official from a government agency asking questions, a concerned relative of a cultist who visits unannounced, a local busybody who has organized a neighborhood watch, or a curious child has started spying on the cultists. Yes, okay, so we're getting to that. What about the curveball? Is rolling on the chart the first time they double up? The first time you double up on the scenes, you head to the curveball. That's correct. I'm headed down to that. So I've done all of them. Magical component shortage. The crisis is a spell to ward off. A spell component is essential for a spell to ward off a rival cult's curse, ritual to summon a protective entity, a potion that grants temporary invincibility, divination ritual to reveal hidden threats, a spell to heal a critically injured cult member, an incantation to strengthen the cult's magical defenses. What item has been stolen if you've got a stolen ritual item? The sacred nacho cheese chalice used in all of the rituals, an enchanted rubber chicken that's key to their summoning ceremonies, the ancient book of terrible poetry that holds their forbidden spells, the mystical garden gnome that protects their hideout. I ended up using that one in the examples earlier in the book. I thought the mystical garden gnome was pretty funny. The ceremonial bathrobe that must be worn for all important rituals, or a rare glow-in-the-dark plastic skull that channels their mystical energies. So yes, now the curveball. The curveballs are an added complication to the game. The first time a duplicate is rolled on the scenes table, roll on the curveball table and play out that scene. The following table is based on a D66 roll. To use it, roll 2 6-sided dice, one after another. The first die is used for the tens position and the second for the ones position. So, for example, 11, a local handyman arrives to fix something and won't leave until it's done. 12, the cultists attract a group of overly enthusiastic fans who won't leave. A sales representative insists on demonstrating a new product right in the middle of a ritual. The landlord shows up for an unannounced inspection, suspecting something is amiss. The cultist hideout becomes a Pokemon Go hotspot, drawing unwanted crowds. The cultist activities accidentally reveal the cult's location to a group of fanatical anti-cultists who begin to close in. The cult finds they have accidentally gone viral on social media for all the wrong reasons. 22, the neighbor's child, convinced they found a secret hideout or clubhouse, refuses to leave the club's hideout. The ancient book of terrible poetry. That needs to be someplace. The ancient book of terrible poetry. Sounds like more like Vogon than Dagon. I'm not sure I get that reference. The cult secret chant gets mistaken for a viral dance challenge, attracting local teams to their hideouts. So all of those, I just decided that rather than trying to make a separate curveball table for all of the different beat sheets, I just made one long beat sheet, a curveball that could go with any of the beat sheets. One of these gets injected in there. An unexpected storm causes a blackout, plunging the cultists into darkness, and one of them is afraid of the dark. A Valley Girl bachelorette party stumbles upon the cultist gathering and thinks they are totally rad. A malfunctioning Roomba makes strange noises, and the cultists think it's a ghostly intruder. A cultist interprets a Nigerian email scam to be a legitimate opportunity from the elder gods. So that's the way those go. Oh, Vogan poetry is universally considered to be so bad it can kill. Oh, I have read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Okay. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I read that. Probably college. Yeah, Mike says that makes sense to have done it this way. I think there's also a lot of curveballs to keep things interesting upon replay. Yes. And we've got Table of Headaches. And at one time I decided maybe we should just, or I thought maybe I should combine the headaches and the curveballs, because the curveballs occur when there is a duplicate rolled for the first time on the scenes table. But with the list of headaches, at different times, you're going to be injecting headaches into the game anyway. Table of Headaches. At different times, players may be required to add a headache to the game that complicates the story in some way, such as when a check is failed. If you fail your checks, you have to complicate the story. Sometimes it might be difficult to come up with one on the fly, so this table contains ready suggestions. Again, this is a D66 roll, so you can either roll on it for inspiration, create your own headache when you fail your check, or add this in, use this for inspiration, whatever. A delivery driver arrives at the worst possible moment. Important information or a ritual circle has been written with disappearing ink. Ritual candles are replaced with scented ones, causing sneezing fits. The cult's secret hideout is accidentally rented out on Airbnb. A sacred text is missing pages, replaced by doodles. Report cards are being sent home, and you got an F. It's evaluation time at your job, at a job you must have, but your cultist appearance and activities have been a problem. A rival cult starts spreading terrible rumors about your cult. A loud party next door drowns out the chanting. So there we go. So this is another list of things that can be included in there as complications to the game. I did development notes. So let me say, so here are the development notes. Let me read these and see if we missed anything in here. I wanted something small in the back, at least, to talk about what we've done here. Development notes. When I first went live on the Morning Grind live stream on the He's Geekverse YouTube channel, Trey G recommended that I review the Low Stakes role-playing game. Without that recommendation, this RPG would never have happened. Low Stakes was created by Craig Campbell and published by Nerdburger Games. Craig had designed it to replicate the feel of what we do in the shadows. While we were reviewing the game live, I immediately realized it could be adapted into a role-playing game for the Cultists, my comedy web show about modern-day Lovecraftian cultists just trying to worship Cthulhu in a world full of people who don't understand. When we developed the Cultists, I had never seen what we do in the shadows, but the comedic and narrative styles are very similar. Hence, the mechanics of Low Stakes seem to be readily adaptable to a Cthulhu comedy cultist RPG. The idea remained in the back of my head for a long time until I developed a potential path by which I could create and release this RPG alongside the relaunch of the Cultist Season 1 on its own rebranded YouTube channel. Just as the Cultist web show grew from a simple idea to be filmed with a few friends with our cell phones to something much more elaborate, this RPG grew from what was supposed to be a short, straightforward 48-page adaptation of Low Stakes to something much more robust. A large part of this game's development was done live online during the Morning Grind live streams. The collaboration and feedback I received from the community and the comments was incredible. This RPG is undoubtedly much stronger as a result of the community's involvement. I want to give a special thank you to PH Arbex for introducing me to the game Barbarians of Lemuria, particularly its approach to spells and spellcasting. He recognized that its approach would work very well for the way magic potentially works in the Cultists and advocated for its inclusion. He was right, and I was very glad to adapt it for this RPG, and the game is stronger for it. I believe the game development here represents an improvement in not only the Low Stakes game, but also some elements of comedy and narrative role-playing. The idea of narrative roles Low Stakes introduced continues to intrigue me for potential adaptation into non-comedy narrative games. While adventurer-based RPGs, such as Dungeons & Dragons, focuses on preserving a character's niche through their powers, abilities, and special attacks, more narrative-based games benefit from distinguishing characters by the roles they play in the story. Why not build the character's abilities around fulfilling that narrative role? This RPG expands on the idea of narrative roles by introducing the notion of changing narrative roles when playing the same character in a campaign. I've often thought that the emphasis on leveling up and gaining increasingly powerful abilities, while correct for certain styles of games, is not universally applicable. It might not set the correct tone for the characters to level up between sessions. Focusing on character change rather than just becoming increasingly more powerful may be more suitable for games that focus on character development and storytelling. A very special thank you also goes to Brianna De Silva, who was not only the co-writer and director of The Cultists, but has been instrumental in rebranding and relaunching The Cultists on YouTube and the graphic design and layout of this RPG. Valley Girl would say fresh. Oh, let's make that change then. Was that under curveballs? Totally fresh. There we go. Thank you, Robert. Wait, what was how Ben started Knave 2? Growing out of control. I have that, by the way. So I got this game in. I don't know what this one is. Let me solo myself for a second. I don't know anything about this game. It is an Eric Lang game. We'll have to take a look at this one one morning. We'll have to take a look at this one. I've got Knave over here, and we still have to go through the core Hero Quest game system. I haven't even opened my Knave 2 yet. It does. It does. PH says, I'm very grateful for the recognition. Sometimes throwing out random information can indeed pay off and truly help someone. Absolutely. All right. And then I got a little about the creator on here too. So I think that's basically it. I think we're ready to move on. Like I said, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reread the whole thing. Oh, the D66. PH says you start doing 66 entries table, and when you realize it, you're doing just like Kelsey Dion and Ben Milton. Really? Well, who knows where we go from here? There are lots of projects to do. I think there were so many things, and I did them all in the wrong order. I am the poster child also for doing projects and doing things on the wrong order and having a bunch of mix or a mishmash stuff that doesn't quite go together. So that's why I had to at least start over. I was like, all right, let's just start over with the rebranding, and let's start from the beginning, because the goal has always been to pair some kind of story with some type of product, which is usually a game. Story, gaming product. Story, gaming product. So now we have that. We've got the Cultists RPG, the Cultists. We have the Cultists RPG. We have the Cultists season 1 live on YouTube. So we got the mockumentary story, which nobody else has. I mean, is there anybody else out there? Please let me know. Who else has done an RPG based on a web show? Has anybody else done a web show and then created an RPG based on their web show? Has that happened before? Or is this something new? Is that something I can tell people when I'm sending out the beta commentary, beta PDF for commentary and feedback and stuff? Can we say this is the first time a tabletop RPG has been created from a web show? Yeah, I'm not sure of one. I mean, obviously there have been web shows and there have been products, but have we created their own? Have they gotten their own RPG? I'm not sure. Like a scripted web show? I'm not sure. So we're finally getting it. We got story, and now we've got the gaming related product. And so there are other things to go forward to do. I really want to do Faded Edge because I need a game system that I can use to make a game out of. as we go and continue to create more stories. So the Faded Edge game system itself has got to be worked on. Probably take just as much time as this did to get it in shape. But we're going to do it in stages. We're going to do it in stages. Right. RPGs based on like TV shows and movies, of course. TV shows and movies. But is this the first time that somebody has done a web show and then created their own RPG? So we need that, and then we're going to keep going. So anyway, so this is the first step. This is the first step to making all this happen. Of course, we did have a party game for the Cultists as well. But I think that if that comes out, we need to revisit that for season 2. Re-release season 2, pair that with the release of season 2. So I feel like things are going well. I don't feel like I feel like I'm a bit anchored now, and not that I don't have just the eclectic mishmash collection of all these things. Seems like I've got purpose and a way forward. Let's see. So I guess I should put out the Kickstarter link. Oh, let me remove that. If you are here, please do like the stream. But let's see. Let's go over here to Kickstarter. Can you just search for it? Oh, yeah. Launching soon. Here we go. So that's good. You can search for the page too. At the moment, I got several things up, but right now, we got 17 people who are following the Cultists RPG. Let me give you the link. Cultists RPG on Kickstarter. Right there. Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, this is the first time this has happened. So we'll try to get it out there. So that should be a thing. That should be a thing, right? That should be a thing. Sounds like it. So right now we got 17 people following, but we've got, I've got the $500 dice giveaway that needs to be promoted with this. You can tell how it's too much to think about both the marketing and the development at the same time. So I'm about to have this done, and then think about, all right, now what goes on that page? I need to get a few prices on the shirts. I'm going to think about these miniatures. Brianna and I will work on that on Wednesday. But then, yeah, we need, it's about time to start getting this out. I'm going to make a couple of other videos, or 2 or 3 videos, which is one reason why I was upgrading or thinking about upgrading the studio in here. Because I want to make some just dedicated YouTube videos. It's been a while since I've made those. I just have not had time. But like 8-minute YouTube videos on some of the different features of this RPG, the things that we've thought about, the new or innovative elements of this game, what we've pushed forward, and make like 5 or 6 different YouTube videos just about that. So there is a lot that's going to happen with that. So YouTube videos will go out. I'm sure I'll also do some Facebook advertising. I'm thinking about just keeping it to YouTube and Facebook, but also some ideas about, Cthulhu comedy and improv role playing. Get those videos out there. Go to the $500 dice giveaway and see if we can't build some interest here before this starts to go live. So I'm feeling like this is a major milestone here. It's not quite ready because I'm going to read over it one more time, but I'm feeling like maybe in a couple of hours here, I'll feel really good about this and actually have something. If I do, I'll post the preview to the Discord server. Let me post the Discord server link one more time. That way, if you are here, that's where to go. Ravenkeep Discord. And then I'll also post it to everywhere. I've been making a list. I got to sort that list of all like communication channels and things to different ways to go out. Oh, wait, that's quite a chain. I do know of an RPG that was based on a TV show that was based on a book series that was based on an RPG campaign. That's The Expanse. I still have to watch The Expanse. That was one that was brought up on the list for Table Talk. All right. Well, at long last, that is where we are. Please do hit that the button to follow the Kickstarter campaign. I am going to go read through this entire book and then see what I can do with this and get moving forward. Right. That's what I was trying to do. I want to talk about that too in a dedicated video, because what PH is saying is that I think this is one of the strengths of the Cultists, that it creates a framework for improvisation that helps those who may not be very creative but still want to have fun and feel like they can generate funny situations. Both the game master and the players find themselves in situations that are inherently amusing to experience and are guided by this spirit. This guides the role-playing and the metagaming, as knowing they are in a scene dealing with something specific creates a sense of camaraderie and complicity. That's why I think some of the tables were important and why those beat sheets and things were right. Because we've talked about so often on the show, it's very easy to write a rule book to say, hey, just you can partially succeed on something or come up with a complication to add to the game. That's very easy to write when you're writing a rule book, but it may not really help you at the table all that much, because then you have to adjudicate, like we've been over, like, what does it mean to be partially successful in different situations or come up with an appropriate complication or trouble or something like that. I think if you're going to have that in the game, then you need to do kind of what we've done here with the Cultists and have tables and inspiration ready to go. Because it's, I mean, I consider myself a reasonably creative guy, but filling in a bunch of stuff like that on the fly at the table isn't often something I find that I or other people can do all the time, especially. And I feel like, hey, that was kind of your job when you were designing the game. So yes, I think we should talk about that in a dedicated video. All right. Well, okay. So no table talk tonight. We won't do the House of the Dragon, but I will watch that later, because I am going to go hang out with the family, watch fireworks, and celebrate Independence Day this evening. But in the meanwhile, I'm going to work on this afternoon. I will see everybody in the Discord server. If I have information to report, I will post it there. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for making this RPG better. You guys have helped out in a major way. It's been fantastic developing it on this stream live. I'm looking forward to doing that a lot more. So everybody, and also if you're watching on replay, thank you. Thank you to the live people and everybody who's watching on replay. Later, everybody.